The Kursk Oblast remains a key flashpoint in a key and unexpected flashpoint in the Russian-Ukrainian war, and it's a place where there are certainly now North Korean troops, and President Zelensky has revealed today that 3,800 North Korean casualties have been recorded so far. And he's also announced the new offensive in Kursk Oblast. Now, the Kursk Oblast is important because there are villages in that area where particularly elderly people naturally speak Ukrainian. So, on the same grounds that Putin defends the invasion of Donetsk, Zelensky could easily defend the invasion of Kursk to protect the Ukrainian-speaking peoples. I think it's a spurious argument, but there's an element of humour in it, which is not unsurprising given Zelensky's background. It's ironic. It's ironic. I don't think that the Kursk offensive is in any way intended to be a permanent acquisition for Ukraine. It's leverage, and it's clever leverage. It began on August the 6th in 2024, and it achieved surprising tactical gains. And although there have been significant counterattacks, with Russian troops taking back almost half of the land that had been seized, there's still a significant amount in Ukrainian hands, and more this morning. This Ukrainian offensive, which was renewed yesterday, mixed outcomes, but quite a lot of positivity. Now, as for the human cost in North Korea, Pyongyang sent 12,000 troops in autumn 2024 under the agreement with Moscow, with the potential for 30 to 40,000 reinforcements. And the high casualty rates because of human wave tactics, with over 1,000 North Korean soldiers lost in a single week in late December, has led to suicides and defections, and there are fears of repercussions if families are captured, for their families if they are captured. And Pyongyang's involvement signals deeper Russian-North Korean alignment, raising questions about strategic priorities, raising questions about what Russia may have promised North Korea, particularly in terms of nuclear technology. But certainly morale is low, as indeed there seems to be some truth in the internet stories about the 155th Anne of Kiev Brigade, which is a NATO-backed initiative to bolster Ukrainian troops with training in France, and the reports of soldiers going absent without leave, poor organisation, insufficient support, which have plagued the unit, with apparently 1,700 deserters between March and November last year. But despite those setbacks, the brigade has now been deployed with reinforced drone capabilities to counter operational challenges, and the brigade's struggles reflect broader issues in transitioning Ukraine's military to NATO standards. And it's because of that focus on quality, one might say quality rather than quantity, that Ukraine is having a positive effect in turning this war, in repelling the invasion. And Russia's renewed focus on Kursk includes counterattacks in Sudza and Pokrovsk, aiming to encircle the Ukrainian forces. Moscow's efforts to shape the narrative, including fake reports of Ukrainian looting, foreign mercenary involvement, are I think, not working. I mean, there are, of course, the gullible on the internet, but the high stakes, the attritional nature of the conflict, this is certain. The significant losses, this is certain. The looting and the foreign deaths, not so certain, except for the deaths of the North Koreans. The coming inauguration of President Trump on January the 20th, after his sentencing, and the promise of swift negotiations, both sides seem resigned to this as a possibility, but at the same time, there seems to be a pulling back with a recognition that Trump may not deliver all he promises. Ukraine faces some serious tactical problems. It faces the risk of encirclement, but at the same time, the potential to retain Kursk as a bargaining chip, and the increased international scrutiny of North Korea's involvement and NATO's role in shaping Ukraine's military efforts show the broadening aspect of this war. But the ongoing battles, the ripples from the efforts in Kursk, the human cost, the strategic states, the global impact, all of this is part of the fog of war, the uncertainty of Ukraine's position, the uncertainty of Russia's position. The fact that we're even talking about uncertainty with respect to Russia is an extraordinary statement. Russia, this monolithic giant, I was going to say megalithic giant, with one of the greatest infantries, one of the greatest military, it is one of the greatest military powers in the world, and it is brought to its knees by an unprepared country that was determined to be resilient. That is remarkable, and the fact that it is still ongoing is remarkable. There is uncertainty in Ukraine's position, particularly in the light of the political changes in the West and Russia's evolving tactics. But, and indeed, the long-term implications of foreign troop involvement, like the North Koreans. But I think there's room for hope, and there's room for honourable behaviour on both sides, on both the Ukrainian side and the Russian side. I don't think either the Russian military or the Russian soldiers want to be there. And it's simply a matter of time before this reality emerges with the full force of a changeover in the Kremlin. That will come. And at the moment, I don't think anything new will happen until January the 20th, but Ukraine will continue pushing in Kursk, and the information coming out there today is not clear, but it's certainly not decisive.